Um, Welcome into 716 Sports Blizzard, and this is a recap of the Bills' win, um, 30-27 over the Miami Dolphins. Um, so Jonathan, what did you think of the defense during the game today?
They struggled, but I can't blame them for struggling. Um, they were against a desperate Miami Dolphins team. Tua Tagovailoa was back. They're against Hill and Waddle. So it was just good. I knew it was going to be a tough test. Yeah, Richard, go Bills. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough test. But at the end of the day, Tyler Pass kicks a 61-yard field goal. I didn't like how Von Miller jumped offside, so I think they should move on from him at the end of the season. But overall, at the end of the day, they're 7-2. So, what are your thoughts on the game?
Well, the Tyler Bass 61-yard field goal that was exciting. Like at the end there, um, and like I saw the Bills. They started out slow. And and they were down 10-6 at the half. Um, so like, what was happening when they were down by like a touchdown?
Um, I think what happened was, as I said, Miami was desperate. Miami was desperate. They got Tua back. They and it's just Sean McDermott's coaching. All throughout the season, Sean McDermott will this Bills they will struggle in the first half, but then Sean McDermott makes adjustments and guides them to victory. So I just wish like the Sabres, they would just I don't know, I'll have to say this later, but I just wish both these Buffalo teams would give a full 60-minute effort. And that's just but like I said, but I guess at the end of the day the Bills are winning. So um but McDermott needs to get this team prepared right away.
So what what do you think has to be better next week as we go into Indianapolis and play Indy?
I think the defense needs to be better because they'll be possibly playing Joe Flacco, and they just gotta get healthy on defense. Um, the offense I am really impressed with. There's not much that could be improved the offense, but the defense is just improve the defense and get have McDermott play a full get McDermott to prepare right out of the gate and have them play a full 60 minutes. But at the end of the day, a win's a win. So I'm really the Bills are the front runner to dethrone Kansas City, and possibly Baltimore, but Baltimore lost to Cleveland. Well, today they dominated the Broncos, so Houston I think is a year or two away. So Robbie, what do you want to see next week?
Um, like with Joe Brady, start like mixing run pass more. Um,
Yeah,
and try to get like James Cook involved a little bit, get Kincaid involved a little bit, cause then maybe that will stop the defense from figuring out what the Bills are doing.
yeah. The problem I had with the first half, run, pass, run, pass. I mean, his play calling just gets too predictable. I mean, when he breaks away from the play calling, when he gets for that play calling, then the Bills will be on. Then the Bills offense shines, but far too often he'll just get into the lazy patterns and yes, they got to get James Cook into it. But one player that had a fantastic game was Ray Davis. You can see his touchdown right here. Allen back to pass. Ray Davis just runs out the field, gets past two Dolphin defenders, goes all the way to the end zone. So I like how they have like three good running backs. There's really not much to complain about. I mean, there's pieces here and there you can complain about, but overall, I'm really happy with the direction the team's going in.
Um, and and then the week after we play Indianapolis, we come up and go into the
Kansas City,
the Kansas City
as
Chiefs
always,
game.
it's a big game. And
Yes.
probably the two best teams in the AFC, Allen and Mahomes. Um, the Bills beat them 3 years in a row in the regular season, and as of now, the Chiefs are undefeated. I mean, the Chiefs got 2 games before so the Buccaneers could have an unbeaten season. Or do you remember who the Chiefs play next week at the Bucks? Or don't you know?
The Chiefs.
I got it right here. It's the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos look okay this year. I mean, the Broncos did beat the Chiefs last year, but I think the Chiefs are very likely going to be undefeated when the Bills play them, and and they just got to get pressure on Mahomes. Well, actually, I think it's going to be a shootout because the defense has been struggling. I mean, we pretty much need to beat them in a good old fashioned shootout.
So Monday Night Football, which is tomorrow night, the Chiefs play the Buccaneers, and then they play Sunday against
Against the
Denver.
Broncos. Yeah,
And
so
and both games are in their home building.
yeah, so but Buffalo does. I mean, the division is pretty much locked up right now, so Buffalo needs to turn their attention to catching Kansas City for that number one seed, and it's going to be tough because Amari Cooper is injured. Just suffering more and more injuries. I mean, the Bills are likely going to make. I mean, it's the Bills could run with the division by Thanksgiving, but like I said, now the Bills need to turn their attention to getting the number one seed from Kansas City, and that's going to be tough. Because I mean, I don't think the Chiefs, as great as the Chiefs are, I don't think they're going to go undefeated. I mean, I guess they could, but it's a huge task to go undefeated in the NFL, even if you're the Chiefs. Even if you have a quarterback as great as Mahomes and a coach as great as Andy Reid, you got to think there's going to be some pitfalls there.
That's true. And like our next game after the Chiefs is the 49ers.
San Francisco, when healthy, is a good team, but they're just suffering too many injuries. Like Christian McCaffrey went down with injury, which destroyed McCaffrey and Ayuk went out with injury, which pretty much destroyed my fantasy football season. But like I said, they're pretty average when without those two players. They and like I say, they have Brock Purdy, who's an okay quarterback, but he needs weapons like Ayuk and McCaffrey to elevate him to that next level. And as of right now, he just doesn't have that.
The Lions is the team I'm worried about. The
Yeah, I think
Detroit
the Lions.
Lions when that's the December 15th game. Detroit and Buffalo.
I think it's
In
safe to.
Yeah, in Detroit.
I think it's safe to say the Detroit Lions are the favorites to win the NFC. I mean, I really don't see. They beat Green Bay today, but I really don't see any NFC. Maybe if San Francisco gets healthy, but I really don't see any NFC team to throw to Detroit. So
Did,
I've got to be the odds-on favorite to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. AFC, it's obviously the Chiefs, but Buffalo and Baltimore are running their tails. I mean, Detroit has a huge gap in the NFC, in my opinion.
did you catch any of that Green Bay Detroit game today?
I caught a little bit of it. I after the Bills game, I did some yard work at my mom's house, and then I watched towards the end of the second half. But I I did watch, but then I had to leave to go drive home, so it's hanging out with my friends in Batavia. But I did catch a little bit of the game and watched some highlights. I got some highlights on YouTube right now. I'll show you in a few minutes. Um, Again, very nice win over Green Bay. I mean, like I said, I think if the Lions don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, what are they? This is the road to the Super Bowl is just wide open for them. San Francisco's having a down year. Philadelphia's having a down year. I mean, those teams got to look out for, like Washington, and Green Bay has a good quarterback, but well, Minnesota. I mean, but I just don't. I'll be shocked if Detroit's not in the Super Bowl this year.
Do you, like as an early prediction for the Super Bowl? Do you do you think it would be like Detroit and Buffalo, or do you think it'd be Detroit and somebody else in the AFC?
It's yeah. I'm gonna go Detroit in the NFC. Buffalo, I'm slowly getting there. I'm gonna pray to the sports gods that it happens. I mean, I'm not saying there's no chance. I mean, we have a freak athlete in Josh Allen. The offense is starting to come together. I just think there's too many holes on the defense. I mean, they'll plug those holes in the next offseason. So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think it's our year yet. I mean, there's people. I didn't listen to a sports show that said it could be our year, but I don't think so. It's either going to be Kansas City, which is a safe bet, or Baltimore. Houston is a year or two away. I mean, Kansas City. I mean, of course, they won 2 years in a row. They have Reed. They have Mahomes. They um they have Kelsey. And they're not even hitting the. They're not even playing their best football. They're 7-0. And the only one I could really see is maybe Baltimore. Baltimore's like the Bills. They have the tools to dethrone Kansas City, but they just keep shooting themselves in the foot. Houston, I still think is a year or two away. But Robbie, maybe you can convince me. Do you think Buffalo can win the AFC Little Super Bowl this year?
Like, I mean, like you said, Buffalo is maybe one or two defensive pieces away from.
And they could use another wide receiver because Amari Cooper is going to be out. They could use another wide receiver. So I mean, I'm really liking what I see from the offense, but they could use like another wide receiver. Get a wide receiver, and they use some defensive players. If B can work up some good trades, then maybe I can see the Bills to go all the way.
And um like right now I'm watching the Indianapolis and Minnesota game, and and I've been watching the Indy defense, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe the Bills can be 8-2 going into the Kansas City game,
I
and
mean, I think
then
they should.
and then I think going into the bye, I think they're going to be 8-3.
Oh, you think they're gonna lose to Kansas City?
I I could see them losing to Indy or Kansas City, but most likely Kansas City though.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the Bills did beat them 3 years in a row in the regular season, but on paper, the Bills have gotten worse from last year. I would like. I would like to reverse logic and say to myself, well, they they beat us in the regular season. Like, okay, then we beat them in the playoffs. But of course, 2020 they beat us in both regular season and the playoffs. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really afraid of Indianapolis. I mean, yeah, as is the NFL any given Sunday, but I think Indianapolis is pretty mediocre, even though they have a, but then yeah, Kansas City is Kansas City. So, but I'm eager to, as always, I'm eager to see how they will look against the mighty Chiefs.
True. And like that 61-yard field goal by Bass, is that like his longest field goal
Yeah,
or
I believe it's the longest field goal in Bills history. So, Robbie, do you think that was the right choice, or do you think they should have went for the Hail Mary, try to get to overtime? I mean, okay, it worked out, but I mean, the way Bass was struggling, I'm so really surprised they went for it.
I
Do you
mean
think they made the right?
it if like since it looked like the wind was kind of calm there during that kick, I think they made the right call to kick it because if they would have went for the Hail Mary pass, that could have went either way. It
Uh,
could have been
yeah,
knocked down incomplete or they could have taken it and like taken it and
oh yeah, I
uh
could say
got
it just
intercepted.
incomplete. That's true. I guess it was the right call. I mean, at the end of the day, the Bills won that game, but I definitely understand why fans are skeptical towards Sean McDermott. Just too many blunders in his career, and if there's any reason why Bills fans are pessimistic about winning the Super Bowl, is because Sean McDermott's just. I mean, he's a good coach, but then he just makes mistakes like 13 seconds, and I really think my, I don't know what Pagula and Brandon Bean are thinking, but my guess is if the Bills don't win the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, um, hello Chris, then I think McDermott possibly gets fired. I mean, this year I think I'm happy with winning the division. I'll be happy if it gets like the divisional round, beat a mediocre opponent in the first round. But at least I will agree with that. At least we're better than Nick Sirianni. I
Yeah,
mean, he's
Sirianni, yeah.
Sirianni. He should. I think it should be. I mean, they're 6-2 and having a good year, but I think Sirianni's holding them back. Oh, so you got Lions over Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
I would have said the same thing probably.
It would be nice to see Detroit overthrow the evil empire. And yeah, I agree. The Eagles should be 8-0. They won today, but it got a little ugly at the end.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, they played the Jaguars and they nearly blew like a 20-point lead, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that's Washington. Yeah, Washington. I think takes the NFC East. I mean, I really like their new quarterback, and I think they've really become a power. The Eagles blew a 22-point lead. Yeah, I think Washington wins the division, and Philadelphia gets the wild card. Dallas and the Giants both stink, and yeah, I mean Dallas' season's down the toilet. Dak Prescott injured, and I mean Mike McCarthy's in over his head. Jerry Jones is a senile old fool.
Um,
Yeah, Dallas is special.
Dallas is toast. Done.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It's gonna be.
Um, I think my friend who is listening in right now, Chris, I think he was at that game. Um, between the Eagles and who were they playing?
Jaguars.
Yeah, the Eagles and the Jaguars. I think he was at that game. Because I was looking at Facebook or Instagram and I was seeing pictures.
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty. It really shows you how bad Sirianni is when they blew a 22-point lead against a really bad Jacksonville Jaguars team.
Oh, um he was at the Toronto Argonauts game against the Ottawa Red Blacks. And the I think the Argonauts won that game, if I'm not mistaken. Chris, if you're still in here.
Yeah,
Um,
he's the.
yeah, the CFL playoffs. That's what it was. Um, the Argonauts won 58-38,
Yeah, very nice, high scoring game.
and then their next game is against the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, I haven't really been paying attention to CFL football, but I think that's a lot. I've seen a couple games. It's a lot of fun.
Grey Cup
Yes,
Super Bowl is our Super Bowl here. Yes.
yes, it is.
Um, and my friend Josh Famer here, saying Tyler Bass is the best kicker in the league.
It's so weird. I mean, I was like the 2 weeks. I was so ready to be done with Tyler Bass. After missing that extra point, I'm like, you're done. You're shot. You don't have any more. And then he kicks a 61-yard field goal. So maybe he'll make me continue to make me eat crow, but I don't. Yes, he. I hope it. I hope it changes whatever mental health problems. Hopefully, mentally it'll turn him around. But I was pretty.
Yes. I yes, it was I think it was a mental thing for him to kick that field goal. As the Vikings just tie it up at 7. Um but I think kicking is not easy, as I interviewed professional kickers for my media work. I I could agree with that.
Yeah, I know it's not easy, but when you're when you're a professional athlete, yeah, you got we expect the best kickers in the NFL. I mean, if Bass doesn't get the job done, he'd be cut and moved on to a different and the ability to move on. That's true. I guess a lot of fans don't see what's behind the scenes. So
kicking is a mental game, I think.
Hmm.
Long snapper and holder are important to the kicking process. Um so let's get into our score predictions for the game against the Indianapolis Colts next week.
I'm gonna go Buffalo 24, Indianapolis 17.
I'm I'm gonna say um 25 to 16 Bills.
Hmm.
And I mean, I I want to see them start fast. I don't want to see them um start slow. Like,
Yeah, play a full 60-minute effort.
yeah, play a full 60. No, um like run. And
No,
then just,
yeah. Don't do run, pass. That's one bad habit that this that Joe Brady and Sean McDermott need to break out of.
yes. And I think like the he
He
had
was
a
injured.
he had a wrist injury today. Um but
That's
but like Shakir picked up where Murray Cooper would be um slotted into play.
yeah.
And
And I'd rather have what.
and so did Mac Hollins.
And I'd rather have injuries now instead of January when the playoffs arrive. I mean, yeah, Coleman did drop a touchdown, potential touchdown pass, and I mean, this game would have been a lot more lopsided if it wasn't for the Coleman drop and awful holding calls by the refs that took away a Josh Allen touchdown. Yep, 2 weeks for Kansas City. Looking forward to that game.
Do you, do you want to know what game I'm looking forward to?
But
The Detroit Lions game when they come up and we go to Ford Field and play them in their stadium.
I hope that's a Super Bowl preview, the Ralph Wilson Bowl. But we'll see. It was pretty bad. Like, it was in his hands, came out, and the Miami got an interception. Yeah, I think they're going to win the NFC this year and possibly the whole Super Bowl.
I mean, they got a good coach, Dan Campbell, and I think they they have a good coach.
Yeah,
Um,
trailer deadline soon.
yeah,
McDermott.
trade deadline is Tuesday. I want to say. I think.
Yeah,
Um. So. Um. I'll wrap up the show and say see you next time. And you can find me on X or Twitter at someone6blizzard, also on Instagram. And where can my viewers find you at?
You can hit me on Twitter at JRedShow.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and go Bills.
Go Bills.